Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson got a big shout out at the Grammy Awards earlier this month, and now she's out with another edition of her Grammy-nominated memoir. Thank you very much. Lovely one. The book is adapted for young adults. It features a new preface, an epilogue, and more. Scan the QR code on your screen right now if you'd like to buy the book, and trust me, you do. First on CBS Mornings, we love when that happens. Justice Jackson joins us now. Congratulations, Grammy nominee.
Thank you. It's very exciting.
And Justice, yeah, what was it like to be at the Grammy? You and Patrick were there together. What was that like for you?
It was really a very wonderful experience. It was interesting. It's unlike anything I've ever done before.
Well, I was there. I saw people lining up to talk to you the way they were to some of the other artists in the room.
Oh, my goodness.
You were a big hit in the room.
It was such an honor to be nominated for the book that I wrote, and I think the Academy saw in the book what I'd hoped, which was that it was an inspiration for a lot of people and hopefully for children now.
And that's why you decided, you said, to put out the young adult version, because in the book you say you were here because at the age of 12, you dared to imagine yourself as a federal judge.
Yes.
And that you tell young people, I love this, guys, dream enormously and courageously. Isn't that good?
It's beautiful.
And that even as you sit here at this stage in life, you are still striving to perfect your dreams. And after that, I went, huh? You're still striving to perfect your dreams. What do you mean?
Well, I think everybody is learning and growing. I'm relatively new on the court, even though I've been there 4 years now, but I'm still the junior justice, and there are more things to learn and do. We're very busy, and I'm trying to be the best justice that I can be.
And before you jump in, Vlad, I want to ask about that. Gayle asked in the green room, how you are feeling being 4 years on the job on the Supreme Court. You said feeling good.
Yes.
I'm curious about the filling out process of the other justices. How do you navigate those relationships amid such differences of opinion?
Well, the court is very good at compartmentalizing, meaning that we focus on our work, we work very hard, we come up with our own individual opinions as to how we think about the law.
Of course.
We write our opinions, but we are very collegial as a body and as a group, and we get along well as justices together. And I think it's sort of a model for learning how to disagree without being disagreeable.
And you've been able to do that because right now, from the outside looking in, people are attacking the Supreme Court, they're attacking the media, they're saying that, we are all so politically divided that there is no way to heal. And you say that you all basically do get along?
We do get along.
You do?
We do. I think, our work is focused on differences and issues. We're sort of always thinking about the law in different ways. And so we have learned how to adapt to being in an environment with people who have very strongly held but different views.
Justice, you never say to somebody, you're wrong. you got it wrong, buddy.
You say it in your opinions, and that's a great opportunity.
So let's talk about the law. Article 1, Section 8, Clause 1 of the United States Constitution. This is not for you. This is for our viewers who are going to wonder. Congress shall have power to lay and collect taxes, duties, imposts, and excises. Article 1, Section 8, Clause 3, the Commerce Clause, to regulate commerce with foreign nations. Article 1, Section 10, Clause 2, no state shall, without consent of the Congress, lay any imposts or duties on imports or exports. Now, I'm not a lawyer, but this seems kind of clear.
Were you speaking English?
Yeah. But this seems kind of clear to me. So, and this is not a question about what you are deciding, but I think people want to know, why is it taking so long to reach a decision on tariffs?
I'm sorry. You're talking about the
tariff decision, yeah.
Well, there are lots of nuanced legal issues that the court has to thoroughly consider. We had oral arguments, as we normally do in cases, and people may not be familiar with the court's process. We actually deliberate over a period of time where each of the justices decides how they feel about the issues and writes, and it takes a while to write.
So that's the answer?
Yes.
When you're still writing, you're still deliberating.
The court is going through its process of deliberation, and, the American people expect for us to be thorough and clear in our determinations, and sometimes that takes time.
Well, President Trump has, recently raised a lot of concerns and eyebrows when he's making calls to nationalize the elections. What do you think about that? What does the Constitution say? Did it raise your eyebrows or give you concern?
Well, because these issues are coming through,
yes,
it's very hard for justices to speak publicly. Right now, we have no case on that issue, so I'm really not in a position to comment.
This edition also includes a speech that you gave for a speech and debate tournament.
Yes.
All the way back in 1987 called It's About Time.
That she won.
That you won, by the way.
Yeah.
No surprise there. I'd like to ask you, what do you believe it is about time for now, for us as a country?
Oh, my goodness. Well, when I wrote that speech, I was a senior in high school. And I think I was being very nostalgic about time passing, moving, transitioning into a different era of our lives. But the point, I think, was to really get people to focus on the moment and try to not be so overwhelmed by the circumstances.
This moment seems so divided in this country right
now. It is, but we've certainly had other periods in our history in which we've been divided, and we've come through them.
How? How do we do that?
You know, I think that if people really focus on their own values and the things that matter to them, if they invest in their communities and in their loved ones, we will make it through. There's no one right way to get through a situation like this.
So, Madam, sorry, Gayle.
I'm curious about how you personally handle things, because I'm fascinated by how the court works and how the perception is, you know, it's very conservative. How do you handle things when you go home and the decision didn't go the way you would like? How do you come to grips with that? How do you navigate that for yourself?
Well, it is part of the job. You know, there are 9 of us on our court, and each of us gets to vote. And there will be many cases in which we're unanimous and we all agree on the way the law requires the case to come out. And then there are many cases in which we don't. And I think one of the brilliant things about our system is that we have the opportunity, if you are in dissent, to write a dissent that explains what your views are. So it's not that you are just sort of shut out and not able to express.
Your opinion is still heard.
Exactly. And I think it's one of the great things about this country, you know, freedom of expression and the ability that we have and the value of tolerating minority views. So our structure in the court really embodies that. And it helps to have the opportunity to write what you actually feel. And then you put it behind you and you move on.
So in the book, you have a new epilogue where you write about distractions that children face today, like social media, and you caution that putting too much stock in the curated reality we see online is dangerous. What is your biggest concern when it comes to technology and young people? You have 2 young...
I have 2 daughters, and, you know, I will say that there have always been distractions. You know, I remember my parents thinking that there was too much television in my era, and my grandparents thinking about radio, and, you know, so this problem has been something that people have faced. But I think I wrote that because I was really wanting young people to understand that hard work, focus, trying to stay free of distractions is very important to success. It's something that I think throughout the book you see in my story. That I'm trying to explain to people that when I was 12 years old, I thought I might want to be a federal judge. And that was a goal for me, a very big, audacious dream for me. But it's something that I worked toward because I was focused on it.
And you could turn off the television and the radio.
Exactly. And you can turn off social media. It's not...
The distractions feel so different, though, to me these days. But back to your point, Nate, about the essay that you wrote. This is how she closed the essay in high school. Maybe by learning to appreciate the time that we're given, we will someday realize what it means to have the time of our lives. Isn't that good?
So beautiful. So amazing.
Thank you.
Isn't that good?
I mean, this book, everybody should go out and get this book. First of all, the adult version, but also for young people, because it really is wonderful.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Oh, I'm delighted.
And when are the socks going on sale? I'll talk to the hubby.
We'll have to figure that out.
I'll talk to her.
Go Patrick with one. I'd like dream enormously, dream courageously. I love that. Lovely One, adapted for young adults, is on sale now. How do you get it? You can go to the bookstore, or we make it easy. Scan the QR code right on your screen to buy it now. And watch CBS Saturday Morning for more with Justice Jackson. She's going to continue the conversation with the lovely Adriana.